Vince McMahon is a crackhead, but we all know that. Growing up, I've seen this man leave his wife for a 25-year-old Trish Stratus, I mean, who wouldn't, get clapped by his son at WrestleMania, kiss Rikishi's ass, beat up his own daughter on a pay-per-view a week before her wedding. This man got so angry he tore up both of his quads and had a wrestling match against God. This is what I grew up on. And then I wonder why I am the way I am. In 2007, just when you thought Vince couldn't tweak anymore, he tweaked even more. On an episode of Raw in early 2007, Donald Trump challenged Vince to a match at WrestleMania. Yep, this all started with Donald Trump. Vince said no and then proposed that instead of them wrestling, they both choose two competitors to wrestle on their behalf. Trump agreed but wanted to raise the stakes a little bit. He insisted that the loser would get their head shaved. So that's what it was. WrestleMania 23, the Battle of the Billionaires. Trump had Bobby Lashley, Vince had Umaga, Stone Cold Steve Austin as the referee, and that's where this story all started. WrestleMania 23, Lashley versus Umaga, and everything was going to plan. Vince had Shane come out to be the referee after Umaga destroyed Austin, and Umaga was doing his thing. It literally looked like, hey, maybe Vince will win. But everybody and their mom knew exactly what was going to happen. Bobby Lashley and Austin worked together, and 1, 2, 3, Lashley got the W for Trump. And poor Vince tried his best. He ran like he was running from the police, but it just led to him getting his head shaved in front of 80,000 people, millions watching at home. Vince was crying with shaving cream all over him. Vinnie Mac was bald. The next night, Vince came out on Raw, and let's just say he was angry. This man came out and simply said, WrestleMania never happened. Vince goes on to say that we will never ever see his bald head. The issue is Bobby Lashley comes out, a proud bald man, and takes his hat off, and Vince is out here running trying to find a towel. He goes to Jim Ross and takes his hat. He even hides under Lillian's skirt. But it didn't matter because everyone saw bald Vince McMahon. So Vince is bald, Vince has been embarrassed, life can't get any worse. So for the next few months, Vince tries his best to get his life back on track, and step 1 in the process, he started wearing a durag. What a f***ing legend. Step 2, go beat up the man who's responsible for you being bald in a handicap match for the ECW Championship. Vince walked into Backlash 2007 with a full Warzone lobby and destroyed Bobby Lashley, and walked out as the durag wearing 62-year-old ECW Champion. I wonder if he has waves under there. So life was good. Vinnie Mac was back on track. No one on the corner had swagger like him. He was ECW champion. Life was good. Walking around, stunting with the belt. He even got a white durag. I wonder what Vince's favorite 50 Cent song is. Probably Back Down or I Get Money. As the weeks went by, Vince just did his thing. This man would appear on ECW and just troll the living hell out of everyone on ECW. One night RVD was like, "You're making a mockery of the ECW championship." And Vince just goes, "You're damn right I am." Every week just walking out there stunting and leaving. He loved it. This was the happiest Vince had ever been. Who knew? It wasn't the millions or billions of dollars. It wasn't winning the court battle against the feds. It wasn't Trish or Sable. It wasn't even the Kiss My Ass Club. All Vince truly needed to be happy was a durag and the ECW Championship. Prison Mike and Durag Vince would have been the greatest tag team ever. I don't care what anyone says.
And from me, Prison Mike, to you, I just want to thank you for listening to me and letting me be a part of your life today.
He loved every single moment. He cherished it. It was his baby. He loved that belt more than he loved Shane, to be honest.
So, excuse me while I whip this out.
But then it all went away. One Night Stand 07. It was supposed to be just another title defense for Vinny, but nah. He got clapped. All he had to do was wear the damn durag. But no, he wanted to go out there and wrestle without a durag, and look what happened. And Vince was back to square one. The one true love of his life was gone, the ECW Championship. And Vince was never the same. The next night on Raw, poor guy was feeling some type of way. He could barely walk. He had that look on his face. He officially lost it all. He could barely speak. He had gone mad. He was paranoid. He thought everyone was after him. He thought everyone was trying to embarrass him for losing the ECW Championship. When in reality, Vince, nobody cares. It was ECW in 07. Literally nobody cares. But no, he was paranoid. This man was basically Tupac in 1996. When he would talk, it was about how he had a bad feeling. There's a dark cloud coming. But to cheer himself up, he declared that next week's Raw episode was going to be Mr. McMahon Appreciation Night. So here we were, Raw, June 11th, 2007. This was a special night. I remember being so excited for this. It wasn't just any Raw, it was the WWE draft, okay? It was a 3-hour special. SmackDown was there, ECW was there. This was back when we were actually excited for Raw being 3 hours. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? The show opened with a depressed Vince McMahon just standing there reading a statement who assured us, even though he lost the ECW title, he was perfectly fine. Okay, sure, whatever you say. So this was Vince Appreciation Night, and the whole night was filled with Vince's former employees and friends talking about Vince. And let's just say there wasn't a lot of appreciation. Jesse Ventura called Vince a dictator. Snoop Dogg called Vince the greatest asshole in the world. Trump called Vince pathetic. Bret Hart, it's Bret Hart in 2007. What do you think he said? Rowdy Piper, Heenan, Austin, the whole night just getting roasted and roasted. To end the night, Vince comes out, and as Lawler says, he looks sedated, basically meaning there was a good chance that Vince popped a Zanny right before walking out. So Vince is standing in the ring looking like he's ready to cry after getting his head shaved, after finding the love of his life, losing it. Here he was, standing in the ring as the crowd chanted, "You suck." He tried talking, but nothing came out. Basically Eminem in the beginning of 8 Mile. After a few minutes of just standing there, he just drops the mic and leaves. Poor old man was walking away. He looks back one more time, hoping maybe someone, will say something, maybe some cheers, like, "Oh no, Vince, please stay." No, nothing happens. He leaves, and then he gets a standing ovation for leaving. So backstage, all the wrestlers are chilling, and Vince is just walking and walking, just passing them by. Nobody says anything, he just walks and walks. Paul London was smiling like this was the greatest day ever, and finally Coach runs up to him. Finally, someone to help Vince. A friend. All Vince needed was a hug. Instead, Coach is like, "Mr. McMahon, your limo's actually that way." So poor Vince walks and walks, he turns around, he walks by the Stooges, and even they don't say anything. Vince is finally out the arena, and now he's happy. He has a smile, he opens the door to his limo, takes one last look around, a deep breath, and you know what? Whatever. It's time to go home. He sits inside, he's about to close the door, and that was the end to Monday Night Raw. Oh my god, I remember being a kid and seeing this and just being so confused. Like, huh? Is this real? Who, what, where, how? I'll never forget this. I was just so confused. Next day at school, all these conspiracy theories were spreading around and everyone's like, Vince died. Oh my god, did you see Vince die? And you would think we would be sad. Like, oh no, little kids, we just saw Vince die. No. We were annoying ass grade 4 students. We were hyped, like, yes, Vince died. There were so many conspiracy theories. We were so hyped. We were so shook. It was amazing. But yes, this was a real storyline. It was so different. Nobody expected this. From him going bald, to him reaching the peak of his life with the ECW Championship, all the happiness, to this, him blowing up. It was the best straight to DVD movie ever. So the question is, what happened? Did Vince die? Who did it? Was it a murder? The possibilities were endless. And next week on Raw, we had Stephanie crying on air, saying she will find out who did this to her dad. We were gonna get a good old-fashioned murder mystery in the WWE. Sadly though, due to the real-life tragedy of Chris Benoit and his family, Nancy and Daniel, the storyline was scrapped, and basically they pretended like it never happened. But yo, this could have been something special. Now I'm not saying it would have been good, but at the very least it would have given us some funny content for a while. Vince McMahon died. Like, that's the storyline. Vince died. Such a random, crazy, straight Simpsons Who Shot Mr. Burns type storyline. The original plan for the storyline was that the next week on Raw there was going to be a funeral for Vince, and that the murderer was supposed to be revealed as Linda McMahon, his wife, who would be arrested at that show. And eventually on an episode of Raw, Vince's pre-recorded will, would be released, and it would state that the entire WWE would be handed down to his illegitimate son, and that son would end up being none other than Mr. Kennedy. So Mr. Kennedy would run the entire WWE, leading to Triple H and Steph trying to get it back. Pretty wild. Oh, and Vince would reappear and announce that he faked his death, hoping it would end up causing Linda to spend the rest of her life in prison. His wife. What a lifestyle. But I love it. It would have been stupid, messy, crazy, and even cringe. But to be honest, who cares? 2007, what a time for Vinnie Mac. Head shavings, do-rags, limos blowing up. I love it. So yeah, to sum it up, basically Vince found out that the ECW Championship was the true love of his life. He lost it, and then decided to fake his own death. GG.